What's the worst thing that could happen on your birthday? Getting forgotten? No cake? Well, mine was different. On my 24th birthday, my dad sent me a single text. Not happy birthday, not how are you doing? Just this: we sold your car. Family comes first. You should be grateful. At that moment, I was in the middle of a night shift at the hospital. No time to cry, no time to process. But inside me, something shattered. And that's when I knew I had to leave this family for good. I am Madison, 24 years old and a nurse. That morning, I woke up early like I always do. Nurse uniform neat, hair tied up, coffee rushed, and out the door without a sound. No one at home mentioned my birthday. Not that I expected it. I was used to that. My 12-hour shift at Memorial Hospital started at 7 a.m. Sick kids, paperwork, crying, doctors calling out orders, patients needing help, everything spinning like a tornado. And honestly, I liked it, because at least there, I knew who I was helping and why I was working. I was updating patient charts at the nurse's station when my phone buzzed in my pocket. I pulled it out, not expecting anything, but I wasn't ready for this. We sold your car. Family comes first. Be grateful you're living here rent-free. I just froze. For a second, I couldn't move. I clutched my phone tighter, rereading it over and over, hoping I misunderstood. But no, every word was crystal clear. That car was mine. I spent 2 whole years working side jobs, saving every penny to buy it. I did everything. Researched, chose the model, visited dealerships, negotiated on my own. It was the first time in my life I'd ever felt in control. And they sold it, without even telling me. I forced myself to breathe, turned my face away so my coworkers wouldn't see the shock, but my chest felt like it was being crushed. Then my phone buzzed again. Tuition for Derek is due this week. $5,800. Help your brother. I laughed. A bitter, hollow laugh. In a matter of minutes, they didn't just take my car. They turned me into a walking ATM. My brother, Derek, the golden boy, never paid a bill, never worried about a meal, never had to fight for a single damn dream. And now I'm paying for his college dream. No discussion, no asking, no thank you. Just orders and expectations. I remembered when I was 18, still in high school, and they made me pay $400 a month in rent. While Derek got a gaming console, designer shoes, even his own car at 16. I remembered the time I won a small scholarship, and my parents took the money, saying I owed them. I remembered the pearl bracelet my grandma left for me, suddenly showing up around my mom's wrist at a family party, like it had never been mine. I remember every single thing. My head was spinning, and I kept asking myself, when is it ever going to be enough for them? When will I stop being punished for simply wanting to keep what's mine? That entire shift felt like I was sleepwalking through a storm. I tried to focus, but every ringtone, every step behind me made my heart twist. Not because I was weak, but because I was holding it all in. The bitterness, the exhaustion, the quiet anger that had been building for years. Near the end of the morning, Amelia, my closest coworker, walked over to me. In her hands was a tiny cupcake with a single candle. She smiled softly and whispered, "Make a wish. Happy birthday." I smiled back, barely. But my eyes burned. Not because of the cupcake, but because for the first time that day, someone remembered me. Not as a wallet, not as the daughter with endless obligations, but as a person. And in that moment, I knew I couldn't keep living like this anymore. After my shift, I stood outside the hospital doors, gripping my phone in my hand, my mind completely blank. I don't even know how long I stood there. The streetlights cast a soft yellow glow onto my wrinkled white scrubs, and all I felt was exhaustion. Bone-deep, soul-crushing exhaustion. I was supposed to celebrate my birthday with a few friends. The table was reserved, the dress was bought. But how was I supposed to smile, eat, and laugh like nothing happened, when my entire life had just been rearranged in 2 text messages? I canceled the plans. No explanation, just a short message. At that moment, only one thing was on my mind. I had to go home. I had to confront them. I had to end this vicious cycle once and for all. The car was gone, so I had to take the bus. A slow, winding route that took 45 minutes, instead of the 15-minute drive I used to make every day. I sat by the window, watching the city blur past in the dark. Each stop felt like a silent punctuation mark, dragging out the anger bubbling inside me. But it wasn't about the car. It wasn't even about being told to pay Derek's tuition. It was deeper than that. It was the fact that I've never truly been seen as part of this family. I've always been a tool, a walking wallet, free labor. The daughter who's supposed to be grateful for scrap. My mom was setting the table. My dad was already seated, his face stern and unreadable, like always. Derek was laughing at something on his video game, like nothing in the world had happened. "You're back. Wash up. Dinner's ready," my mom said softly, like everything was completely normal. I didn't move. "This afternoon I got Dad's text," I said, voice dry. "You sold my car. No asking, no warning. And you told me to pay $5,800 for Derek's tuition. I want to know why." Silence. Not the kind of silence that comes from guilt or hesitation, but the kind that comes from disdain. "I did it for the family," my dad finally said. "You live here. You eat. You use the water, electricity. You don't pay a cent. It's just an old car. We needed the money for your brother, and you should be grateful." "I've been paying $400 a month since I was a senior in high school," I said, my fists clenched, trying to keep calm. "The groceries in the fridge, the bills, I paid for most of that." My dad's face flushed red. He slammed his palm on the table. "That's still cheaper than rent out there. Don't you dare throw your so-called sacrifices in our face. There's a line, and once you cross it, there's no going back." I felt the heat rush to my face. My head was spinning. Every word, every memory, every moment I'd swallowed my pride, ripped wide open. "I'm not a damn money machine for this family," I said through gritted teeth. "I wasn't born to pay off everyone else's debts." "Watch your mouth." My dad shot up, slamming his hand on the table. "If you want to walk out of this house, then go. This family doesn't need a selfish daughter like you." I looked him straight in the eye. My voice was calm, but sharp. "You sure about that?" I asked. "Because if I walk out that door tonight, I'm not coming back. No more money, no more doing everything for everyone in this house." The air went still. Derek froze. My mom pressed her lips together, but my dad, he didn't flinch. "If you leave this house without paying your brother's tuition," he said coldly, "then to me, you're already dead." I didn't say another word. I just turned around, went upstairs, opened my closet, and grabbed my suitcase. My whole body was shaking, but not from fear, from finally doing what I should have done a long time ago. I packed in silence. My ID, paperwork, certifications, my nursing degree, my stethoscope, everything that symbolized the life I had built for myself, by myself. I took the old picture frame too, the one with a photo of me and my grandma, the only person in that house who ever saw my worth. Then I pulled out my phone and texted Amelia. I need a place to crash tonight. Family stuff. Exploded. She replied almost instantly. Come now, I'll be waiting. 3 a.m. I quietly carried my suitcase down the stairs. The house was wrapped in darkness, except for a faint light coming from Derek's room. His video game sounds still leaked through the crack under the door. I didn't knock. I didn't say goodbye. I just opened the front door and walked out. No one came after me. No one tried to stop me. They thought I'd cave, that I'd come crawling back like every other time. But they were wrong. The Uber was already waiting at the end of the street. I dragged my suitcase toward it, feeling like I'd finally cut the chain that had held me down for 24 years. As the car pulled away, I didn't look back. I got to Amelia's place around 4 a.m. She opened the door without a single question, just pulled me into a tight hug and whispered, "You don't have to go anywhere else. You're safe here." I didn't cry, not a single tear. I've cried enough. For all the years I was used, ignored, taken for granted. Now, there were no more tears left to fall, just a cold clarity and a quiet, unwavering resolve. The next morning, I woke up with a strange sense of clarity. Everything felt sharp. No more hesitation, no more halfway thinking. I made myself a cup of coffee, opened my laptop, and started gathering evidence. Bank transfers, text messages demanding money, work schedules from the hospital, account statements, every single trace showing how my family had systematically drained me for years. I called the bank and requested a full statement. From the day I turned 18 until now, I made a list of every expense they forced me to cover. Rent, utilities, Derek's tuition, all those loans that were never paid back. I even reached out to a lawyer, a friend of a coworker, and asked, "My family sold a car that legally belonged to me. Can I sue?" And the answer was, absolutely. If the car was registered in your name or purchased using your account, you have every right. I sent over all the documents, line by line, and this time, when I hit send, my hands didn't shake. I sent an email to all three of them, my dad, my mom, and Derek. The subject line was just one sentence, regarding misappropriated property and demand for restitution. In the body, I listed every single amount they had ever borrowed, forced, or taken advantage of. Dates, locations, attached proof. No room for denial. I demanded compensation for the car, or its full value, and I made it clear, if I didn't receive a response within 7 days, I would move forward with legal action. No threats, no insults, just clarity, cold and surgical, like a scalpel. I don't expect them to apologize. I don't expect them to feel guilty, and I don't need their love anymore. What I need is freedom, respect, and justice. For the first time in 24 years, I finally feel like I'm living as the person I was always meant to be. Not the daughter who was supposed to be grateful, not the walking wallet, but an adult, with value, with boundaries, and no more tolerance for being used. 3 days after I sent the email, I got the first call, from Derek. "You've completely lost it," he said. "You're seriously going to sue Mom and Dad? Do you have any idea how humiliating this would be if it went to court, our whole family would be a joke. I didn't interrupt. I let him talk, let him rant, complain, accuse, even insult. And when he finally fell silent, I said one thing. I lived with humiliation for 24 years. You've been uncomfortable for 3 minutes. Don't tell me I don't understand how it feels. Then I hung up. No explanation, no second thoughts. A day later, I got a response from my father. Not an apology, not even an argument, just a short message. Exactly the kind of thing he would say. If you dare take this to court, don't ever call yourself my daughter again. I read it, then quietly hit archive. Because I'm not looking for a father in name. I'm looking for justice, for the daughter he spent a lifetime dismissing. I didn't file the lawsuit right away. I gave them more time, 1 more week, their final chance. In the meantime, I started cleaning up my life. I transferred the first rent payment to Amelia, started looking for a new used car, submitted an application to enroll in an advanced nursing program. For me, not for anyone else to be proud of. I started living like no one had a grip on my throat anymore. And the truth is, no one does. Not anymore. On Sunday night, I looked over the old emails, the documents I'd prepared, and quietly asked myself, will I regret this? The answer was no. Because for the first time, I finally understood. Freedom doesn't come from unconditional forgiveness. Freedom comes when you have the strength to say, enough. 1 month after I walked out of that home, no one sued anyone. No court hearings, no legal battles. Just a new life, quietly beginning, 1 step at a time. My family never paid me back. They never responded again. But they stayed silent. And to me, that silence was freedom. I wake up in my little room, not fancy, not spacious. But it's mine. I cook on my own stove. No one rushing me, no one criticizing how I do things. I come home from night shifts, exhausted to the bone, but I don't have to save every dollar for someone else to borrow anymore. For the first time, I'm not living just to keep the peace. I'm living to be at peace with myself. Amelia's still here. She doesn't ask too many questions. She just stays, always there when I need her. A few coworkers found out what happened. They left quiet notes in my locker. Proud of how strong you are. And my family? They sold the old house. Sent me a short message. If you want your things, come before Saturday. I didn't go. I didn't need to. I don't want pieces of the past. Not when the life I have now feels so much lighter. And finally, enough. If you're listening to this story and see yourself in it, remember, family is meant to be a place of love, not exploitation. You have the right to say no. You have the right to keep what you've worked for. And you have the right to live, not just to endure, but to be respected. Freedom doesn't come from flailing. It comes in the moment you stop and say, I deserve more than this. If this story spoke to you, or if it reminded you of someone going through something similar, leave a comment, share your thoughts, or just drop a sign that says, you're here, you get it, and you're not alone. Don't forget to hit like if you stand for strength and self-worth. And share this video because someone out there might need to hear these words more than you know. And if you want more stories that remind you you're not broken, you're just breaking free, subscribe. You belong here.